welcome back to the Off the Rails podcast. This is episode 11, and make sure you guys are sharing this out. No one really does, but you guys are watching it, and I know people are watching it because they text me. But we got a special guest with us today, our first female guest.
Oh, really?
So, congratulations.
Thank you.
But we have Laken from Lifestyle Gym, and we're going to let her do some introduction and tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Laken Figel. I am 22 years old from Caldwell, Ohio, and I do own the gym, downtown Caldwell in the Square Lifestyle Gym. I opened it about a year and 8 months ago now, and then I also run a women's fitness group called Passion Fit.
Cool. And yeah, we're definitely going to dive a lot into that.
Yes.
These podcasts tend to go businessy. But they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
We've had them all over the place, but they always tend to run into business because I like talking about that stuff. It's like outside of the video stuff. That's like what I like is just the idea of different businesses and aspects of that. I wrote a little bit of a list here of questions in case I'm like, I don't know what to say now, you know.
Perfect.
But the first thing I wanted to know is, you know, you're a young entrepreneur. You're doing your own thing in Caldwell. I came from like this area, I guess. So I'm in Cambridge, all that kind of stuff. But what was the original motivation to kind of start your own thing, kind of get out there and grow your brand?
Well, really, it started when I was in college. I started just teaching women's fitness classes. I've always loved to work out myself, very passionate about fitness. So I thought it'd be fun to share it with other women. So one thing really led to another. I rented out a place to teach classes, started with 10, 15 people, and within 8 months, I had classes of 70. So I was like, outgrew that place, found a bigger place, and then once we outgrew that place, I was kind of ready. Like, I wanted my own studio instead of renting or leasing off somebody else. I just wanted to have my own studio where I could make my own schedule, and then I thought, well, if I'm going to have a studio for classes, Caldwell doesn't have a gym. So I thought kind of worked out combination, and that's really how it all happened.
Man, yeah, that's cool. So I think I saw some of your stuff right when you were starting to like open your gym, or even like, I don't know if you posted too much about it beforehand.
Yes,
I think you did because I was kind of following along a little bit with that, and it was cool to see, you know, people our age kind of getting out there and like doing their own thing. I think at that point, so that would have been what, you would have been 20 or 21?
I was 20.
Okay.
When I was still a junior in college, and I really started from scratch.
Yeah.
I went to school to be a teacher and got my bachelor's degree in education.
Okay. So you did finish school.
I did. Yes, I did finish.
Okay. So I took the other route. I did not. I was probably a junior. I don't really know because I did some stuff in high school and then, you know, college classes and all that. But I just got so busy, and I remember fall of 2018, I think. One of the falls.
One of the falls.
Yeah. But I was sitting there and I was like, it was the first week of school. It was the first like new semester. And, you know, I was like, I could either go, I had like 3 projects to do that I was like working on, editing and all this stuff. Or these guys gave me like 3 things of homework, you know, and I'm like, it's the first week. Like, I just wanted to learn people's names, all of that stuff. And so I kind of decided, I was like, I'm going to go do this. And so I left college, and then I ended up just starting doing videos, and it slowly turned into this. We've only been in this this building for, what, 2 years, Ethan? He's editing.
He's not listening.
Caitlin's probably yelling at him, but yeah.
2 years.
So 2019 is kind of when we got in here, but it's been pretty fun. It's been cool, and it's good to get connected with people that are doing similar things as far as business.
Do you regret not finishing college?
Not yet.
Not yet. Fair enough.
If I ever get done with this, probably I'll probably be like, all right, maybe I'll go do something. And that's always kind of been in my back pocket too, is like, if I needed to, I could probably go back.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this last fall, with like COVID and everything going on, I was like, I went and actually got my real estate license. So I don't yet. Sorry. I did the classes for a real estate license, and all I got to do now is go take this test that I probably couldn't pass currently.
We could study a little bit.
Right. I was like, there's tests online. Like you can do like practice tests and everything. But that's kind of like in the back pocket. But at the same time, I just think we have a lot of momentum. And if this doesn't work, I can still use a camera.
You're so young. You'll figure it out. Yeah.
And there's always I can always go make videos.
Yeah,
I don't have to have a building and have all this stuff. So it's kind of always there. But right now, no, I don't regret it. But do you regret finishing college?
Honestly, if it wasn't for my family, that was part of when I pitched the idea to I want to open a gym, it was, you need to finish school.
Yeah.
So my senior year was rough. Opening a business from scratch and then trying to finish out. My senior year was my most intense year.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. So you said it was 8 months to 70 people in your classes?
Yeah.
So you were still probably in school around that time too.
Yes.
And was it just
it was a lot, but I feel like I loved it so much that I didn't have to work, which I still technically was working,
right.
But to me, I just felt like I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So it was just, I taught a class on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, that's it. Mm-hmm. So I'd run home from college, teach a class, and that was my job.
And your passion fit stuff, was there a point when you were doing classes in Caldwell Park or something like that?
We did do some outdoor classes before so I started at Anderson Propane.
Okay.
And then moved into a Healthy Fit there.
Okay.
In Caldwell. And we would go out to the park and do classes.
Because I think that's kind of when I started, I was like, that's kind of working out for her. Because
yeah.
you're posting pictures of 50 people or whatever. Well, hundreds maybe.
I think the biggest class I ever taught had 120 people in it.
Wow.
Which for Caldwell, Ohio is this big. So right. 120 women is a lot.
Yeah, and Caldwell's growing.
There's
a lot of stuff coming to Caldwell right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably know the guys that own Next Level Muscle.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Do they go to your gym?
Clay and Katie Conway, they're married. They open Next Level Muscle, which they both are members of the gym. And then I think it's Cody Stewart opened that clothing line. Finish Strong Apparel. I got to remember that he sponsored one thing, and I got to make sure I don't. Yeah.
Those guys, they're starting to do pretty well. I know for the last few Metabrook games we filmed, I think, what game was it? One of the games, Finish Strong Apparel sponsored one, and then the next game, Next Level Muscle sponsored one. So it was kind of cool to get, with them going to regionals, it was more of a larger community thing than it was just your Byesville businesses versus your Cambridge versus Caldwell versus Shannon, whatever it is. It was just kind of
big,
So that was kind of cool. But you said it was kind of not like working. You said, what's your day-to-day look like? Because you're probably a pretty busy person.
My days are not consistent, and they are all over the place. My Monday and Tuesday are completely... Every morning I'm at the gym by 5 a.m., whether I'm teaching class or doing personal training. And then I either work the shake shop, I teach a Gentle Passion Fit, which is for elderly women. I teach a Little Gymmers, which is for kids. So depending on the day, I at least teach one class and train. I have a lot of personal training clients one-on-one.
Okay. So you get a lot of that too, and just...
Yeah, I have a whole list of women I can't even fit in my schedule. So one day I'll get to them.
Right. And now, do you have other personal trainers at your gym, people that you would bring in?
There's one guy from out of town who has a few male clients because I actually don't train men. I only train females. So, and then I have a girl at the gym who's working on her certification now because I won't let people train at the gym unless they have a certification.
Right.
So I have a girl working on it and one guy, but other than that, it's just me down there.
So you could use some help.
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. Well, Caitlin, did you get your certification? She's getting there.
One of my closest friends is almost through her certification. She just has to pass her test.
Yeah.
So once she passes it, I'll help her start building her clientele.
Mm-hmm. So, and over COVID, you guys built the underground.
Well, not really.
Okay, I don't know.
Yes, so I had to shut my doors for 3 months during COVID.
And that sucks.
That sucked horribly for a first-year business owner. I halted all billing because I'm not going to charge people. They can't get in the gym.
Right.
So, but obviously I still had all of my overhead. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do? So I kind of pushed my online. It kind of made me step out of my comfort zone. And then 1 month of COVID, I had over 400 women online. And I was like, So that was like a blessing in disguise for me
Right.
and my business. And during that time, I actually knocked out my studio wall and doubled
Okay.
the size of my studio. That was during COVID. And then I don't know, I was teaching at Shenandoah and got the idea of a powerlifting gym. And usually when I get an idea, I run with it. So I worked on it for like 5 months in secret. Like I was having the basement painted, I was having equipment delivered, but nobody knew.
Yeah.
So I closed down for a week. And in that week, nobody knew what I was, everyone thought I was opening a CrossFit gym. I was loving that. That's what everybody thought when it was totally opposite of what I was doing. But I closed down for 5 days and we cut a hole in the middle of my gym floor, like literally cut a hole out and built staircase. So now it's a 2-story gym.
Okay. So was there always a basement? I mean,
There was a basement.
It was just kind of unused.
Storage. I leased the building and the guy that I leased it off of, it was storage.
Okay.
So we cleared it out and turned it into a second level of the gym.
And the underground's kind of cool. Like that was the one thing I saw, like as me, I'm like, that's cool. Like, and I haven't like seen a lot of pictures. I mean, I've seen pictures of, Jenna, I follow her and all that. I see people posting all their pictures and stuff, but that looks sweet.
My goal with really the gym in general, but the underground was for when I get a lot of out of town people like oil and gas guys.
Okay.
And I want like when you walk into my gym, like for it to be like, wow, like this is a cool gym, like very unique. I didn't want you to be able to go to any town and find our gym somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
and it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like you got a couple different gym styles all under one roof.
Yes. I was trying to, I guess, personalize it to all of the people I have in my gym. I'm very woman focused accidentally. I kind of like don't think about the men. I'm sorry. But so then with the underground,
So
I was
you
like,
threw them in the basement.
yeah, basically. But no, they love it. Memberships have skyrocketed since I've opened up that.
Male memberships or just in general since you opened
I would say more male. I actually don't know the percentages, but I would say more guys have memberships at the gym than females.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's sweet. Yeah. No, I always thought that was pretty cool. But one thing I was, when I was writing down my list here, I was, for me, it's kind of been a slow build. There was not this like one point where I was like boom, like now we're good, now we're going, now we're rocking and rolling. It's this slow build. And even to this day, Ethan, he'll hear me say all the time, like, we don't make any money, but like, it's always like more money every time I say it. And so I know we're like growing. But for you, was there a moment or a time or like, when did you realize this is real? Like this is gonna work. This is my thing. Like, this is what I want to do.
When I was a little nervous opening the gym, because obviously I had to take out a business loan after I did all my Excel sheets and stuff, I figured out I had 89 members to pay my bills. So 89 members, I'd break even, so it's fine. That was the goal. And on opening day, I signed up over 100 people. So I was like, all right, this is cool. This is cool. So
I think people would just be excited just to have something in town, right?
There's one other gym in town, and it's been there for a long time. People weren't happy with that gym.
Okay.
So like when a gym that came into town that is well taken care of, good equipment, people, Caldwell needed it. So I don't have any really very minimum competition in Caldwell.
Right.
So that is a huge blessing for me that I don't have to try to compete against other gyms.
Yeah. And I interrupted you there on the real part. Was there another part to that?
I don't think so. I don't remember what I was saying.
I do that a lot. I interrupt people. And then what was your biggest, or who or what, I guess it could be either, who or what was your biggest influence in wanting to do your own thing? Or, was it, for me, it wasn't necessarily like one person. Like if people ask me that, I'm not like, oh, it was this guy, or it was my dad, or it was this. But for me, I kind of think of it like who might have been someone even growing up that was kind of like maybe swayed you in this direction, or was like, for me, it was my dad and / my DECA teacher in high school, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I've always kind of been like business oriented. And I think they kind of like slowly pushed me towards this like style, versus like, he wasn't like, you should go do your own thing, but it was just kind of like the way you were raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it similar?
I would say probably definitely a combination of my mom and dad. They're both very different personalities. My dad is business oriented. He very much like me when it comes to business minded, but my mom more instilled in me that like, as a woman, you should like never rely on a man. like
Right.
financially, nothing. Like set yourself up before you. So I feel like maybe a combination of my mom like raising me to be very independent and then my dad very business oriented, somehow it turned into this. But not necessarily anyone I feel like specifically.
Right. And you went to school to be a teacher, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. And so how did you get into the, like, what was the, like the gym part?
Honestly, in high school, I dated a guy who was super into the gym and I started lifting with him and I hated it. Like I hated it. And somewhere along the way, when I like felt like I started to get good at it, I was like, I just fell in love with the gym. And then from there, I loved to lift. And then I was like, one of my friends was like, you should be a personal trainer. I was like, okay, we'll try. So I got certified and then it really just kind of flowed in one thing. So I guess shout out to my high school boyfriend.
There you go. Right. No, that's cool. I don't know. I don't know where we really got going, but I know it was definitely after college. I went to college to be like an energy engineer or something, like not really, I didn't really want to do that, but I was like, it pays good. And my mom was always like, go to college, get your degree, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay. And that was kind of, I know you said your parents kind of pushed you to finish college.
Yes.
They really wanted me. And my dad though, he didn't care because he's like, you do whatever you want to do. And my mom, she's like, you go finish college. I'm like, oh, I'm not though. I don't know.
I definitely feel like we live in a society where it's thought of that you have to go to college.
Yeah.
And whereas really you don't need to go to college. Like I feel like if you're ambitious and driven
right.
and self-motivated, then you can make a career without a degree.
And I don't think college anymore, maybe in the 70s, 80s, but anymore, it's not really as good of a distinction as it used to be. You know, I mean, maybe businesses are looking for someone that has college experience or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you are goal driven and you can do your own thing or even prove that
you can,
right.
Yeah.
I don't think they really care.
I agree. And I feel like, I know a couple of my friends who are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I'm like, I'm less in debt and I opened a business. Right. And now they're going to be paying on student loans forever.
And you're just going to be starting your profit.
Yes.
They got to get out of debt before they can do that part.
Yeah. But I do feel like college is kind of taking a turn as how it used to be.
It's overly expensive.
Very much so.
I know there's like graphs out there. It's like the inflation rate of like money versus like the inflation rate of college tuition. And it's just like exponentially insane.
Yeah.
And people need to think about it because there's definitely like, I want my doctors to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want my teachers to know what they're doing. I want even that though, like even high school level teachers, you can kind of do it, I don't want to like diss anyone.
No, I feel like I could have been a teacher without going to school for 4 years to be a teacher. Like
Right.
I don't feel like 4 years is a long time.
Even at a certain like elementary, I mean, I know there's like certain things like you learn, but it's like
4 years is a long time to learn how to teach it.
Right. And I feel like the gen ed stuff too.
Yeah.
Why? If I'm going to if I know what I want to do,
then why
do I need to take English or why do I have to take reading or whatever? It's just, I think that's kind of the thing people are realizing is like, yeah, it'd be nice to go to college, but I only really need the last 2 years.
Yeah. I do. I feel like a lot of high schoolers go to college for the college experience, for the friends and the parties and the just living on your own. And I remember my grandpa told me when I was actually going to go to Otterbein and play basketball. Okay. That was a plan. Obviously it didn't happen. But my grandpa told me, he's like, would you want to, like, we were sitting at his bar and he's like, if I put $100,000 in this pile and you can take it, or I put parties every weekend, 5 good friends that you probably won't talk to in 3 years. And I got a degree with both of them because I was trying to decide between a community college. And he's like, which one would you pick? I was like, ooh, that one. And then I decided to go to OUZ.
Okay.
And my tuition was free, so I don't have any debt. So I got my degree, not necessarily the fun way, but the responsible way, I guess.
No. Yeah, that's a good thing. So when I first went to college, I went to Arizona State. I wasn't like, it was a cool school, but I like in my head, I wasn't like, I'm going to go there to party. Like that wasn't, it's a party school, but that wasn't like my main ambition. My sister lives out there. And so I was like, it might be cool to like get away and like try something. And it's like, she's still right there. Even if I need someone there's someone there. But I went there for just a semester. I didn't go very long. I missed it here. Weather was nice. I mean, I was in the pool in February, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And so I went there and I like just sat in my dorm room like all day.
All the time.
Just like so bored. And like they had some events, so I'd go to the gym or I'd go play disc golf or frisbee. And not at that time. I would play ultimate frisbee. Distinction. Difference. There's more running in ultimate frisbee. And so, I mean, there was definitely a lot of opportunity out there, but there's a lot of debt too. You know, I had a few scholarships here and there, but I still had like a private loan of like $7,500. And in my head, and it's not horrible, but then I came back here and I went to Ohio Valley University down in Parkersburg and went there for a year and a half. And that's when I left.
And you're like, no, this isn't it.
Yeah, it was just, so even there, it was more of a, like, it was definitely not I don't know how to it wasn't an ambitious school. And I can say that because
it's fine. It's,
right.
If it's the truth, it's the
if
truth.
If people from OVU are listening to this, I'm doing something right.
True.
Really.
True.
So I don't know. Like I went and they really sold it on you the first, like, you know, you had your professor and stuff calling you. They're like, this is, you know, we were glad to have you here. And then second semester, you're like, where is everyone? Like, you're
just
all
the
gone.
way to get you in. And then that's that.
And I don't know how OU's, was it similar? I mean,
I will say OUZ was a good school.
And I've heard that. I've heard they're pretty, they stay with you and your professors. And actually, the real estate class I did through OUZ and Tedrick, I think it was my teacher's name, but she was very, very like on stuff and you could text her and do all that kind of stuff.
Our professors were very involved and like I had the same academic advisor all 4 years and I actually went to school for nursing and dropped out. And they're just I still graduated on time. They made sure I got my right classes. It was a good school. Like I don't have any complaints about it really at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot for.
Shouldn't went to easy.
I really, realistically, yeah, because so my last semester there, I would drive, like I would stay here because I had classes like 3 days a week. It's like a 50-minute hour drive, you know, there and then back at the end of the day. And I think the big problem with my college experience per se was I never like got that friend group or like I never, you know, like you went to school with Jenna. Is that right?
We went, she dated a guy from my school. She went to Vandenberg. I went to Caldwell.
Okay. Well, and then in college, did you have like?
Me and Jenna were very close in college. I don't remember what she was majoring in, but regardless, we would live together between classes.
Okay. So like you had her and I don't know who your friend group is, like realistically outside of her, because that's who I know. But but you probably had a little bit of a friend group that you kind of made. Did they do anything like freshman wise where they were like, hey, freshmen, come do this, you know, activities and stuff where you got to kind of know the other people
like
too?
Icebreakers and this and that. Yes, but I was in nursing school, so it was a whole different group. So then when I switched majors, then I was with the teaching girls. Right. But OUZ is such a small school that the girls I was with my sophomore year were the same girls I was with my senior year.
And being around here too was probably nice.
Yeah.
You probably kind of knew them, maybe. Yeah. Like you're like, I've heard of you or whatever it was.
Ish. They were from, Zanesville's about a same 45-minute, 50-minute drive for me. Right. So I commuted from Caldwell to OUZ, but we did get close after 3 years and you're with them for 4 days a week, you know? Right. You build relationships.
Yeah. And when I went to ASU, there was just, I don't know, my roommates were all from like California.
Just from all over the place. Yeah.
2 of them were from California. It was weird because I was like, all right. And they were just like, so like, not different. At that time, I was very like introvert, like just scared of everything. And I'm starting to get better at it. But at that time, like I didn't want to talk to anyone. And what's funny is, and Ethan, we have a friend that lives back here now. We went to school with him. You know, same grade. Like we were decent friends in high school. He went to Arizona State too.
Oh, really?
Lived in the building across from mine, and I talked to him once while we were down there.
That's crazy.
And so it was just weird. But like, yeah, I just sat around, and then I came back here. But by that point, you know, it was the middle of the year. It wasn't like the beginning where they do all the activity, and then you just don't know anyone, and you're just like, your roommate, like. They're like, dang it, I have a roommate now. Because first semester they didn't have one
themselves,
and now they're upset and you're like, sorry, I don't know what to do. And
I definitely feel like college isn't all it's made out to be. Like
It's not. It depends too. I mean, there's definitely the type of person that like likes that experience and like wants that and needs that.
Yes.
Even like the book side of it. Like some people learn from reading books. Some people learn from that like professor, from having that activity. Whereas I was always like, I'll be more hands-on. I can kind of do my own thing and figure it out.
I agree. Hands-on. I feel like I got more out of my senior, like being in, when I did my student teaching, I learned way more about being in a classroom than reading about how to teach a kid math. Like, let me go teach a kid math.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think hands-on learning, that's how I learn the best.
And on the gym side, speaking of hands-on learning, what were some things maybe you were like, okay, I've got all this stuff written down. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to open it. Boom, it's opening day, or it's like the first month and you're like, oh wait, I never even thought about that. Or like, oh no, what am I doing?
It is, especially with no really business experience. Yeah. There's like the financial side of it was.
How's your taxes looking?
Yes. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, but in like the software side of it, to like try to figure out how do key fobs work? How do I get people 24/7 access? It was a lot of research. Like it was almost 11 months from the time I got the idea to open the gym until I actually opened the gym. I looked at on 10 different buildings, and I didn't even know what floor to put in a gym or what. It was a lot of small details. But now when I go to open my second gym, because I'm going to, I feel like I just know.
Do you know where?
I do, but disclose the information.
Secret?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I do have like another 9 to 10 month plan of where I would like to.
Okay. Fort Fry? Beverly? I don't
know.
I don't know what's in Beverly. I know we do some Fort Fry stuff.
The long-term goal is to expand Lifestyle Gym, because I feel like I've pretty well maxed out Caldwell.
Right.
Memberships, my classes. There's not much. I have classes from 3-year-olds to 80-year-olds. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
Right. You've got about the entire. Got the entire town coming in.
Yeah. So it's, for me, it's what's next.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was my next question. So
what's next?
You're getting there.
Yeah. I feel like for a long time, I just thought I needed to grow my classes. Like, it's like I wasn't happy. I guess that's not true. I wasn't content with 50 people. I'm like, how can I get 70 people out of here? How can I get, and then eventually I realized like Caldwell's only so big, and having a consistent 60 to 70 women show up at 5 a.m., it's not probably going to get better than that.
No.
So I need to just put my focus on improving somewhere else.
Yeah. So you don't have really an end goal. You're just like, what's next? Like, let's build it bigger, better.
Always.
I like it. I like that.
I thought my end goal was opening a gym, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because there, and I am like, don't get me wrong, I'm incredibly like happy and blessed with what I have.
Oh yeah.
But it's always for me, what's next.
And I feel like that's something a lot of not old businesses, because they're old, so they're still around, obviously, like they're doing something right.
Yeah.
But like the reason I feel like a lot of businesses fail either in the first few years or whatever is they're like, I'm good. I've got my X clients. I've got X people coming in a day, and they're like, I'm good. And then it's like, wait, then something like COVID happens, or whatever it is. And then they're like, okay, now what, what's next? And that's something we've always kind of done is my motto is at the beginning was like, I was like, okay, we've got Meadowbrook, like we've got one school. I was like, next year, let's double every year. Like,
let's try to
realistically, that's the goal. Now you get to 8 schools and you try doubling that. That's going to get
You
difficult.
can still do it. You got
can do it.
Yeah.
Right. So, year 2, we had Buckeye Trail and Meadowbrook. It's like, okay, we doubled. Like we're good. We're doing it right. Then COVID hits and we didn't double. We like quadrupled.
Oh, really?
Because it went from now we're doing highlights to schools are calling, hey, you live streamed that one game one time, didn't you? Yeah. Can you stream our entire season? And you're like, yes. Sure. Yeah, let's do it. And the funny part about that is like when you do step back and think about it as a business owner, you're like, the idea of just saying yes to everything, you're like, that's like, if you had an accountant, they'd be like, no, let's not do that, or whatever. But at the time I was just like so hungry. I was like, let's do it. Like, I didn't think about the overhead costs. I was like, wait, I have to buy 3 stream setups because we're probably going to have 3+ streams a day, you know, sometimes not every day, but like some days could have 3 streams. And so that was kind of the big thing for me was this year, especially was, you know, football basically 2 weeks before the season, the OHSAA and everything came out and they said, we're going to let companies stream football, which they never had in the past. And so it went from, it was literally 2 weeks. Like it was like, well, Caldwell. Okay. So the thing is Caldwell, Fort Fry, Morgan are with Apex. So Apex streams their games, but also with Apex, we became really good friends because they started using our platform for basketball season. They went out of it. So next season, even for spring, and the thing with spring is I don't know how many teams are going to do live streams because it's outdoors. People, you can have so many people outside. But the idea is next year for football, that's when it gets like to be a good thing. But so we picked up 3 schools just this like for this next season. But we had, what do we have this year? So we filmed Meadowbrook, Malvern, River, Shenandoah, Buckeye Trail. I might be forgetting one, but I mean, we went from 2 to like 6, 2 to 6 or 7, and now it's going to be by the end of the year 8 plus.
So you're doubling, you're reaching your goal. Yeah.
So we doubled, we more than doubled. And so now next year I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, cause the goal is like, if we have the setups already, really it's just you need the people.
Yes.
And so that's going to be the difficult part, especially around here, is like trying to find good workers.
Reliable.
And I've found 3 or 4 really good ones. You know, we've got Ethan and Shylon. And now we had another one, but he moved to Cleveland and got a full-time job, which is kind of sad. But he was really good at it. You know, I've got a high school kid that kind of does some stuff for me. And so it's been a really good thing, I guess, that came out of a pandemic. But it's also something where it's like, you got to pivot your business just like you did with the online stuff. Is that something you're going to continue even after COVID? Are you going to do more online stuff, or is it kind of just like...
I actually, which off camera, I could talk to you about live streaming because my live streaming quality is horrible. I do it on Facebook Live.
Okay.
But all my challenges, like right now, I taught a class. Today's Monday. I taught a class this morning at 5 and it's live streamed. So then we have people that jump on at 5 a.m. from. My goal in the next 2 years is to have someone from every state in the United States do my classes online.
So is that the Passion Fit?
Yeah.
Okay. I was actually going to ask that because you posted I dig on my guests a little bit.
Yeah.
You posted a picture of the Passion Fit wall with all the states and Ohio was circled in. I was going to be like, what's the goal there? Is it to get everywhere? And you answered it. So that's what I kind of figured. I was like, I think she wants to make this everywhere.
Like a worldwide. Yeah. So for like my New Year's challenge, we reached 6 different states. Okay. So we had people from Texas, Maine, West Virginia, Florida. So then every time we reach a state, we put a purple heart in that state.
Yeah.
So then it's a visual that we'll be able to see purple hearts spread across.
That's cool. That's a cool idea. And yeah, you need to talk with me about that because like this could be live right now. You know, I can cut angles, we can do audio, all that stuff. I mean, we can put visuals on the screen if you want. Like,
this is the most, for me, this is what I struggle with the most because I'm not, I don't know how to, I've looked
That's
up.
all I know how to do is literally,
This could be good for me then.
Right. Well, and that was, so when I started doing this, I was like, why do you want to do a podcast? And I had 2 reasons. So reason 1 was I hated talking to people. Not literally, but like I couldn't talk to people. I was like just would not talk to anyone. There were days where I'd sit there and it sounds sad. It's not sad. I don't talk to people. And I would sit there and I'd be like, I haven't said a word today.
Not one.
Like it's weird. And because, you know, like with what we do, you know, Ethan doesn't have to be in here every day because we have he edits videos or he's out. So I might be the only one in here all day. You know, if you wake up, you know, and you just come in, you're like, I didn't say a word today, did I?
Not one.
And so that was kind of my goal. I was like, I not only do I not talk a lot, I'm not good at it. And my second goal was to grow business connections. And so we bring in anybody, you know, but for the most part, it's community members that have some interesting stories, start a business, have a barber shop, you know, like with Yarber. So he's a barber at GT. So, you know, they actually sponsored some of our stuff. And so it's been really good to build those connections with people too.
Yeah, I do. I feel like you don't know until you start. I mean, me and you probably would have never talked if it wasn't for a podcast.
Right.
So, and I would have never even thought that someone locally could help me live stream.
Right. You didn't even know this was going to be on video today.
No, I did not. I showed up and he's like, "You're on video." I'm like, "Okay, perfect."
So yeah, so that'll be a good connection there. And that's definitely something, I mean, that's like all we do now is like live stream stuff. And then we do some highlights, and like I take pictures from Meadowbrook and Trail, like for their sports. So we do a little bit of everything. We sell pre-workout for some reason.
I saw that when I walked in. I was like, "They sell pre-workout here."
Oh no, competition.
No.
But so this is completely, I don't know why I just thought this. I think it was the pre-workout part. But there was a Healthy's like in Caldwell
Correct.
at the time. Did they move into the gym?
So it's funny how life comes around full circle. That's where I actually taught my classes there, and they let me teach my classes there for free, because if I brought in 50 women, well, that's more traffic through their business to sell shakes. So I taught my classes there for free. It helped their business. We just worked together. And then when I decided to open my own studio, I obviously left them, which wasn't good for their business. And I knew that, but there's like when it comes to business, there's times you have to be selfish. It's just the reality of it. So I told them I was moving out. They were fine. There were no hard feelings. And then when I decided to open the underground, I was like, I bet I could. At first, I didn't have enough space when the basement wasn't there. I'm like, maybe I could pull off leasing out some square footage to them so they could move their shake shop into the gym. So I called the owner. I was like, "Hey, I have an idea." He's like, "Let's hear it." And I pitched it to him, and he was definitely hesitant because we had to run plumbing, we had to run water. It wasn't ideal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But now that I'm like, "Listen, move in. I'll cut your rent in half and at least double your traffic."
Yeah.
Like, it would be dumb for you not to. But so he did, and their business has been doing great, and it's cool to have that in the gym to give my members that option.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. You see a lot of gyms now doing that.
Yeah.
I know like Cambridge Fitness, they've got a shake place in there now. It's not huge, or it's not like it is an official one now, but they started it. It wasn't like, "Hey, come move in and do your thing here." So yeah, I know like CrossFit over here. I'm a little bit all over the place. I'll go to CrossFit sometimes. I'll go to the Cambridge Fitness Center sometimes and all that kind of stuff.
I've been to all of them. I try to go to a gym. This sounds crazy. I try to go to every gym-ish within a 50 to 70 mile radius before I opened.
So you have done that?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say, how much have you got done of that?
Yeah. I mean, there's some gyms like I don't mean like small gyms that like you really have to search for, that I obviously haven't been to. But in the year before, the 11 months before I opened the gym, I'd say I probably went to 70 different gyms every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 different gyms.
And is that kind of where you're like, I'm going to find things I like about gyms, things I don't like, all that? Some
inspiration,
Right.
And like I said, I wanted to open something that was very unique to our community and to me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to, so I wasn't really doing it, I guess, for more inspiration than, I'd say the coolest gym I went to was in Las Vegas, which is like the mecca of all gyms. But it was, I can never.
Did they have slots? Like, could you gamble while you were
No, you couldn't, but that would be cool.
So, yeah. So I just remember, like, I haven't been into like Las Vegas at all, but like in the airports, they have like machines. I'm like, sweet.
Everywhere, like in our hotels and restaurants, they're literally just slots
everywhere.
Yeah, but not in the gym.
Did you go to any casinos?
The hotel we stayed in actually.
Well, actually, you probably wouldn't have even been 21.
I was 21.
Okay.
When I went to Las Vegas, I was, but the whole bottom floor of most of the hotels are just casinos.
Yeah.
So like our room was like on whatever story, and then the whole basement the whole lobby,
whatever it is.
Yeah,
right?
it's
not underground yet.
Not underground. It was just a big casino. So that's how I feel like all the hotels that we went into there were all that way.
Right. And so, yeah, I already asked you that. That's not a good one. So what's your free time look like, if you have any?
My free time, this sounds dumb, but my free time is in the gym because like that's what I love to do. Not only is it my business, but like if I work out every day, I lift every day. So actually when I first opened the gym, I found myself wanting to go to other gyms to work out, and not because I didn't love my gym, but because everyone needed me while I was there. Laken, where's Laken? Where's Laken? Can I get a membership? Can I get this? Which is great. But at the same time, like for me mentally, like I needed my own hour and a half to work out without I can't just be like, sorry, I'm working out now. Like
right.
As a business owner.
I get that. No, and I don't have people calling me all the time, but I do have like, I find myself like always wanting to be on, you know, where you're like, oh, I could be doing this, or but you have to have that free time. And I'm still learning how to do that. It
took me a while. I feel like now I know the least busy times at the gym. So like I work out at the same time every day. I know who's in there, and very rarely does my lift get interrupted.
Really?
Which I say that, and then today somebody came in and they're like, is Laken here? I'm like, someone came down. They're like, someone's here for a membership. I'm like, ooh, I'm glad they're here, but at the same time it's
right. And so I find that like we don't necessarily, and for example, right now, you know, we don't really have any games going on. It's not like spring season isn't quite here yet. Basketball just ended, but like in like peak season, I'd go try to work out, and you have to have like your mind has to be empty.
Yes.
Because I will go to the gym, and even still, like I'll go like get on the treadmill just to start and like warm up, and I sit there and I'm like texting, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll be there doing that. And I'm like, I can't do this. I need to like focus, and I'm getting better at that. And I don't know. So it just depends on the day. It's like some days I'll go over there like early in the morning, and like, great. Like I don't expect anyone to be calling me then, but then I'll go over there, and like, especially on game days, I'll have people calling, how do I get the game on my TV? And I'm like, I don't know what kind of TV you have. I don't know.
I'm busy.
Yeah. But just calls and everything. And I'm like, I'm learning to like not check my phone as much.
It definitely takes some balance, and it's a learning experience, because I have cameras in the gym, and like for the first 3 months, I just literally sit
at them
and watch. People are like, Laken, get off your phone. I like was so almost obsessed with my business, and I learned that like I need to make time for like me time, make time for myself, because that's really, you can't pour from an empty cup. I know that's cliche, but like if you're not doing things that fuel you and that are good for you, then in turn that's going to negatively impact your business. So I make sure I try to, every day I read for a half an hour in the morning, and I lift for an hour and a half by myself or with a friend. So
yeah. And do you get to travel any? You get to go on vacations, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, but I hate to cancel classes. I feel like
that's true. Yeah. So you've got stuff every week.
So I feel like one of the reasons that I am so successful with my classes is because I'm very consistent. Like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, the girls know I don't cancel. If I do cancel, it's on the schedule before I put it out. I've never just upped and been like, no class today.
Yeah.
So like my family is going to Tennessee for a week. They sent it to me, and I won't ride with them. I'll cancel one class, one of my Passion Fit classes, and go for 3 days.
Okay.
Just because.
And
I struggled. I still haven't accepted the fact of leaving for a week.
Yeah. And so I think that's where like ours differs a little bit, is like with me, I know like my games, and it's really only like school seasons, you know, because you're like, I got to be around for the school stuff. It's kind of like being a teacher, but in the summer I also do stuff. So like summer weddings are like the big thing. And so like it sucks because I have to like know things like a year in advance, because people will book their weddings 2 years in advance. And so people are like, hey, let's go to Houston or something in July. And I'm like, I can go during the week. I cannot be there on the weekend, because almost like all of June and like May, like August is a big month. Like those, like I almost have every like weekend full for that. And which is okay. And I try to book those up more, because I'm not really doing anything during the week. I don't have school stuff. There's stuff to do. But then in April, I'm actually getting to go down to the Gulf Coast for like 3 weeks, which is nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We're going to film some like music and like some concerts and stuff. We have some buddies that sing and do all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, I find that, and this was like the longest loop around question ever, but
that's okay.
But I find that like those vacations and that like time off almost like refuels me, because I get very drained just sitting and like editing, or just sitting and like listening to like cutting up the podcast and just like all the behind the scenes stuff that like just fills a lot of time. And then I'll come back like from a week or something where I'm like in Tennessee or Nashville filming stuff. And you're still kind of working, you know, you're still making some money and stuff. But when we go with those guys, it's more of just a party and just
fun,
right,
refreshing.
And it's not just like, I'm going to go sit in this school and hold this camera, you know?
Yeah.
But I get back and I'm like, let's do this. Like I almost find ideas out of that.
It's like a refreshing, almost like inspiration to just let your mind stop for a minute.
Right. And that's where I do think I find a lot of my ideas, and like, I'm not saying they're good ideas, but I find a lot of ideas out of like the travel and some of the time off. Whereas when I'm in season or whatever you want to call it, I'm more of just like on my grind. I'm focused. I'm like, okay, we got to do this. Like there's no time to do this and no time to do this. I'm just going to go do my work. And I don't know that having classes every other day. Is that what you said?
Really?
Or every day?
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't have a class on Friday, but I do have a lot of clients. And then Saturday, and I don't have a class on Sunday. Sunday, I keep my Sundays empty. Yeah. I clean my house. I meal prep. Sundays are kind of my days to catch up on everything and get things ready for the next week. Right. And I feel like that's been helpful for me.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good thing. And that's, I think the lack of, I guess, a routine for us is weird. And I think it would help a lot if we did do something like that. But right now it's kind of just what days are games, especially with COVID and everything. It was more like, hey, our game's canceled today. Or like, you know, you were just kind of playing it day by day. There was no like set, like at the beginning of the season, you set out all your games, but then they were all different.
It never works out that way.
It was never going to happen. I mean, just realistically, like having every game not like one team cancels or one team does this. And I was like, it's not working out. So it ended up just being literally out like do day to day. Like
as a business owner, I feel like people who don't own businesses don't quite understand the business mindset. Yeah. Like they want like I don't mean our lives aren't normal, but like it's not a normal job. No. Like you have to be at 9 o'clock, if someone messages me and say, hey, can I get a membership? I'm like, sure.
There's no checking out.
No, your business is your business and you can't just not be there.
Right. And that's what I found. Now you might find this difficult too, since we're about the same age, but I find it difficult with like our friend groups because a lot of my friends have 9 to 5s or have set schedules or third shift, first shift to like schedule like events or go do anything. Yes. And I think we're a little more like spontaneous because it is weird just being able to be like, let's not do anything like Friday or like, don't schedule this video until Monday or whatever it is. And so it's weird because I'm like, hey guys, let's go do this. And they're like,
we can't.
I can't call off work right now. Yeah. It's a day away or whatever it is. So I don't know. Do you get any of that? Like where you're like, oh.
Yeah, I find myself being like, let's do this on Friday. And then I'm like, oh wait, you have a job. It's just, for us, we get to pick our own schedule. I mean, kind of. It's not that, like I say that like it's such a perk.
You could if you wanted to.
Yes.
Right.
So I feel like my friends are pretty like, my birthday's actually next weekend and we just decided today we're going to go to the beach. So we booked a place and there's 4 of us going. We're just going to drive and go to the beach for the weekend.
See, that's nice.
All my friends though are honestly much older than me. Like my really closest 2 friends are 28 and 40.
Really?
And they're like my best friends. So I feel like most people my age, and this isn't a knock or hit, they're just, we different mentalities. Most 22-year-olds aren't living the life I am.
They aren't trying to go out and make something.
Yes. I mean, people are in school, people have like normal jobs, and that's perfectly fine. That's great. But for me, it's not. Right. So it's just, I tend to gravitate towards the older people.
Is it a group that is doing things like you?
I feel like maybe more similar personalities. I like to surround myself with people like who are ambitious. Even, I mean, one of my best friends is a teacher, which I mean, I went to school to be a teacher, but I like happy people. I feel like we live in a world where people are not necessarily the most positive.
Yeah. And I don't think the last year helped very much.
No. So they say that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you start to think about that, you're like, I better pick 5 good people.
Cut this guy out.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go.
No, I've heard that before. I haven't thought about that in a while.
Well, if
That's
you
a good-
really think about the 5 people you spend the most time with and you're an average of them, I feel like who you surround yourself with does have a big impact on who you are as a person and your life.
Yeah.
So,
And something, I mean, we do a lot with the schools, but thinking about the Caldwell area, do you get a lot of like high school kids coming in, or are they more at the school's gym, that kind of stuff?
we have a pretty good group of high school guys that honestly, actually, we have a pretty good group of both.
Yeah.
High schoolers are actually my favorite. I think I have 6 high school girls I train one-on-one, and they're my favorite to train. I just feel like they're at an age that I can have a pretty significant impact on their mindset and their, I don't know, I feel like a lot of young girls are lacking a role model who is a girl who like teaches them like be independent, be ambitious. So they're my favorite girls to.
Right. Well, especially, I mean, in the smaller towns and stuff, I feel like, yeah, you can see it on YouTube, but I feel like it's good to have that in these areas where, you know, it might be more of a go find a job and then get married and do this.
Which is what most people, I mean, a lot of girls want to find a husband and settle down and have kids and get married, which is great, but that's not one of my life aspirations.
You're not on the hunt. Is what
No.
you're saying. You're just happy doing your gym.
Doing my own thing, yeah, for sure.
And you wouldn't have time for that.
No,
You know?
that's why I say if someone comes to my life and adds value to my life in some way, then yes, but if not, then I don't need a distraction.
Right. And I was just thinking about your one-on-one personal training. Someone wants to come. Now, you said you have a list, but someone wants to come and get personal training. What's like a session look like? Or like what's the first thing you're going to do with that client?
It's so personalized based on the first thing I always do before we even work out. I say like, hey, let's meet, whatever works for your schedule. And then I weigh them, take their body fat percentage, measure them, ask them what their goals are. Because I have a girl whose goal is to actually gain weight, which isn't common, but like her training program and nutrition plan is completely opposite as a 17-year-old high school girl who's trying to put on muscle, or a 60-year-old who's just trying to get just healthy overall. So I really try to the sessions are very personalized based on whomever I might be working with.
Yeah. And yeah, okay. Yeah. You said you get their body fat percentage. And so you take each client and you it's not just like this cookie cutter thing.
No, I feel like as a person who is fitness is my career, there's a lot of people out there who just, I don't know. I feel like because they work out, they want to be a trainer. Because they work out, but it's like just because you can curl your hair doesn't mean you're a hairstylist.
Right.
So I do feel like there's a lot of like misconstrued information in the fitness industry, which makes it hard on my end. I have so many women who come to me from other people or they've dealt with this or that. And it's like, you have to, not only do you have to help them, but you have to fix what they were already taught wrong. So I feel like the fitness industry is one that a lot of people try to get involved in. And there's a lot of knowledge that's lacking.
Yeah.
For among people, especially cookie cutter diets, cookie cutter workouts, like
the AI apps you can download and pay $5 a month.
Not my thing. No, that's why even like today I had a group of 4 older people come in there just walking down the street. They saw the gym. They came in. I showed them, I just gave them a tour and they were like, we've never been into a gym where people show us how things work. And I feel like
you see the Planet Fitness videos of people like doing who knows what on the ab machine.
My goal, I guess, with every client is that they feel comfortable in the gym.
Right.
Whether they're a 70-year-old who just wants to try to learn to walk on the treadmill, or whether it's a 30-year-old man who's in there powerlifting. Like, I want it to be a gym that's really ideal for everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have, now that I've added the underground, we've accomplished that.
Yeah. So did you have like a problem with like people being intimidated maybe, or like was it just kind of like did you run out of space?
Yes.
Is that 100%. Essentially what happened?
It was either move locations, which I signed a lease, so that would have been sticky, or quit taking clients, which as a business owner who wants to limit their business, or expand. So it was 1, 2, or 3. And I felt like my goal was when I moved into the underground, obviously my square footage doubled, so therefore my lease cost increased relatively. I mean, it was a pretty
good
big
deal.
Yes. So then I was like, well, what can I do to kind of offset that cost? So then that's when I got the idea of having the shake shop come in. Okay. If I sublease to them, then even though my rent went up, it's kind of counterbalancing, and I'm fixing my space problem.
And you might even get people coming in just for the shakes alone.
And then that in turn, like people will come in for a shake and be like, oh, or like, and they'll buy leggings from me or water bottles, or so in turn, it's been a very positive thing for both businesses.
Yeah. So you started the clothing brand too, right?
Yes.
How's that going?
It took me 10 months I started with a manufacturer overseas, and they would send me, let's say, 5 samples. I'd try them on and be like, I'd work out in them, wash them. And it was just like, I don't like this. Change the material, change this, change that. And eventually, like when I put on the pair that I decided to go ahead and like put through production, I was like obsessed. And I ordered 300 pair, and I sold out of them. I mean, I have a few left of sizes and colors, but like everyone's like, when are you getting more in? I'm like, I don't know.
Did you, was it Alibaba? Is that where you found people?
Yep.
So when I always look for just random stuff, I'm like, I want to sell this.
Yeah.
I'll go on there and like look stuff up.
Yes.
Like, this is cheap.
Yeah, very. I found a good manufacturer that was easy to work with. Like when I wanted to change seaming or fabric because some of them are very just like you order and they send it to you and it's horrible.
Right. Well, and sometimes it's hard to communicate with them too.
Yeah. Because
hello.
And it takes forever to get things because it's coming from overseas.
Right. Yeah. And especially right now it's probably getting a little better, but at the time you couldn't get anything. I mean, our shop, we don't sell much from it. Like it's just like, I'm not wearing it right now, but just like hoodies and like t-shirts of like just our logo basically, like just if you want to support it, whatever, but it's all drop shipped. So it's set up to where we don't touch it, Oh,
I got you.
Yeah. So, you can order samples and see if you like them and all that.
Yeah.
But basically you use, and I know the like tech side of it. So like I had to integrate it into my website and like do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cool. And
it's basically going right from the manufacturer to the person that orders.
Yes.
So it skips you.
You don't touch it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that might be something you might want to look at.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that brand that you have is like that like brand, or I don't know anything about it, but like, for example, you can go on and pick like, well, do I want Gildan? Maybe not. It's a little cottony, and you can go in there and pick your different brands, your Bella canvas, whatever it is. Then you can just throw logo. Like all you need is like just your computer. You can upload your logos. You can upload whatever designs you have and put them on there, and people can order them.
To be honest, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, and so that's how a lot of online shops are. If you go like through Shopify, I know like I'll sit on Facebook and I'll be like, oh, that's a cool shirt or whatever it is. If you click on that, majority of the time, they're not like making that and selling it. They're just making the design. You're like, oh, that's sweet. You hit order and it gets shipped to X. I mean, and you can pick your manufacturers too.
Yeah.
So like some of them, like certain brands will only have certain colors and things, but you can determine that and it'll tell you, it'll ship 3 days after production or whatever it is. And you can kind of determine and pick what price points you want for that too.
So then do you have to sit on any inventory?
No.
So when you
don't touch a thing.
So then when they buy a shirt, you pay what it cost you and you make the difference.
Yeah. And now the only difference between that and buying your own inventory is since you don't touch it, it is a little more expensive per shirt.
Which makes sense.
Which is fine. I love that versus having to make it all and then have it and sit around. It's cool. We might have to set something up.
Definitely, yeah. The one thing with a little different is like I have the shelves and displays in the gym, so obviously I need some things on hand, but I have a pretty big online following with my classes, so that would be ideal for girls that want to order things in here. I'm like putting them in bags with little notes. But I'm a very personalized person.
Right.
Which I feel like makes Passion Fit, like that's one of the things that separates our fitness classes from just your normal everyday come work out for 45 minutes. So, but that is definitely something like that I feel like would be a good. It
takes a lot of the overhead out of it and it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
And there might even be like some way you could still personalize. I mean, you could still, if you have their address,
for sure,
just still send them a note, or just something in the mail versus like shipping and getting bags and boxes and all this stuff. So,
and ordering, like when I will put, let's say, a hoodie order in, I'm looking at anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500 that I have to obviously put out then to sell, which is fine. But that would be a good way to avoid all that extra overhead
Right.
cost.
And it might even be a good way, thinking about it, if you had new designs or something you wanted to try and you were like, I don't know if people are going to like this. Or
Yeah.
you could throw them online. If people are buying it, you could order more of them. Or if they're not, you're like, okay, let's just delete it.
Delete. Yeah.
You know, and it didn't cost you anything. So that might be a little bit of a good way to do that too, is it's a good, maybe even marketing place to find out whether or not people are wanting to buy that X design.
Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't know that was a thing. So it's something I'll have to take a look into.
I'm a nerd, right? I'm not as much as I used to be, and it's not a bad thing anymore. It used to be like in the 2000s, it's like, you're a nerd, ew, and now it's like, you're cool.
You're cool.
But that's something. Yeah, I mean, anything from video to like photo to website design, like we've done a little bit of everything. And so if you have any questions about any of that stuff,
I really have done so much research on live streaming. I bought like the little Mevo camera that's supposed to follow you around and this and that. Yeah, I found that one out pretty quickly.
I had a guy use one of those once. It's not.
It doesn't. I just haven't. Then I always just venture back to Facebook Live because it's what.
So do you not ticket? Do people pay for your streams?
Correct. Yes.
And what is it? Venmo, PayPal, or is it just something like that?
Venmo, PayPal, or cash. Yeah.
How do you keep people off of the streams that don't pay?
So I stream it privately on a Facebook page. So I'm the only person that can add people to that Facebook page.
So it's like a group.
Yes.
Okay.
And I make a new group every month, so it's a lot of work.
Okay. We'll talk.
Okay, perfect.
So what we did with Meadowbrook and Shenandoah, for example, could be done with what you're doing. So we did tickets. So you can buy a ticket to one live stream, or you could do like a season pass, or for example, a monthly thing where they just buy it. Now, the one thing you might recognize versus what you're doing is there is a fee. So like there's a 25% fee that the ticketing company takes. But outside of that, it's your money. I mean, it's quick, it's easy.
Yeah.
If for some reason the live stream doesn't work or something, you can refund people like the same day and all that kind of stuff. So it's something, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And even Facebook now is doing the ticketing events. I haven't played around with it, but I know you can actually ticket online events now through Facebook. Oh,
see, I didn't really. I just, every month I remake a new page. It's honestly a lot of work.
That sounds like a lot of work.
So like there's like right now it's called the March Momentum Challenge, and I went through and added all 170 people to the page. So I individually message all 170 people.
Yeah. Well, I think we can make your life a little easier.
Cool. See, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so that's exciting. I don't know what, I had a train of thought and I lost it. I don't know where it went.
That's okay.
It's
it happens.
gone.
Yeah.
My brain was running 500 miles an hour thinking about live streams now and like, what about this? What about that? No, but
I definitely could use some help live streaming. That is where I lack. When I know that, I just haven't figured out how to make it any better. So
yeah. So, I know where I was going with that. Well, not with that. It was a completely other train of thought. But the Caldwell scene, it's starting to bump a little bit.
Yes. That's what people were like. You started a trend, which I'm not taking credit for that. I have no idea why it happened. But once I put my business on the square, I feel like another younger girl, she's 29, she came and put her boutique on the square. And then a coffee shop was open. Mm-hmm. And now I know of 2 more businesses that are opening on the square this year.
Is the supplement shop open?
Oh, yeah. And them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're literally, the gym's here and they're 2 businesses down.
Great.
So they're new on the square. And then, like I said, there's 2 more new businesses coming to the square this year, which I don't think I'm allowed to share that information, but there's 2 new businesses coming.
Well, no, if they're still listening at this point, they're really invested.
Yeah, definitely are.
But so I was just thinking about that. And I think my theory behind it is, and I talked a little bit about this last time, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. I like talking about whatever. So I think my theory behind it was like with COVID, there were people that didn't really have their jobs going on. You know, they were just kind of sitting at home, even if they didn't have a job or they were running something. They had a lot of downtime, and I could see and I think it's just the beginning wave of what we're going to see. I think you saw it a little bit in 2019 where people were kind of like, I want to shop local, or like, I want to like support local business a little more. And I think it's been a slow trend, but I think it really kind of hit once COVID happened too, was like people, Kyle Huck, for example, the wings guy, he was like, we had so many takeout orders, and like, he's like, the community support we had during our downtime was like phenomenal, you know, just for like all these local businesses.
People told me later, like, just charge us even though you're closed. And like, you're not going to pay for groceries if you can't go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So like, as the business owner, I felt like that wasn't a good idea, but I feel like people just paid. Some people just joined my online challenge just to support me. And
right.
In a small,
and they probably stuck around too.
Yeah. And it's especially Caldwell. I don't quite know about Cambridge, but Caldwell is a very family-oriented, close-knit community. When something happens, we come together.
Yeah.
So the gym's actually putting on a ball this weekend in Cambridge here at the Pritchard Laughlin.
Oh, okay.
For I don't know if you know the Cobb family. They had a little girl 3 months ago. I went to school with Austin, and Kylie's my age, and they had a little girl that was born with her brain doesn't tell her when to breathe.
Oh.
So she has to have a nurse with her 24/7.
Okay.
So I just feel like, I mean, if I was a mom and that happened to me, any support is
right.
Any money we raise is money they don't have. So the gyms kind of came together, and we're coming up here and
that's cool.
And putting on an event at the Pritchard Laughlin.
And I feel like Cambridge, man. Cambridge is weird. I mean, it's definitely weird.
I don't feel like it's the same type of community as Caldwell.
No. I don't want to hate on my area, but at the same time, I can, because I don't know.
You can.
Right.
You can. Yeah.
Right. But so I don't know how in depth I want to go, but it's like, I feel like there's not really a sense of like that community. Like, for example, one of our buddies, he just moved to Caldwell. I mean, he like literally lives, I can see like West Street from like his house, the new coffee bar down there. And so he's like, I got down here and there's just people running on the streets. And
is it Dalton?
Yeah, it is Dalton. Yeah. So he
just told me he moved, and I'm like, I think you might be like my neighbor.
Right.
I live on the other corner of of the square.
Yeah. He just moved there, and he's like, people are just running at midnight, you know, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, you can't really do that in Cambridge. I mean, it's a little scary. A little sketchy.
Caldwell is very, like, I probably shouldn't announce this publicly, but like, I don't lock my doors at night. I don't like, I've never been scared in Caldwell.
I forgot to lock my door last night here.
And you can't, I feel like in a lot of towns or cities, like, you have to be more cautious. I'm so used to like leaving my keys in my car, which I don't anymore, because I did it at a gym in Columbus and my car got stolen. So they're like, were your keys in your car? I'm like, yes, they were. I'm just so used to such a safe. And I'm not saying there's not bad things in Caldwell. There's drugs. There's people who aren't good people everywhere. But for the most part, I don't feel like I feel like Caldwell is a very like family-oriented, close-knit community.
Yeah.
And people are nice there. I feel like they are. I'm really, as a business owner, I feel like you deal with the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with like less than 5 mean people. So
you're doing good then.
That's I'm like, I have no complaints here.
So we started the live streams, and people were not happy.
People are mean.
I mean, they're just like, and that all the way back an hour ago. That's the second reason I started the podcast. I wanted people to know me. I was like,
to know your name.
Yeah, kind of. I was like, they see me as a business. I'm like, my name's on it, but like, I'll have people message me and like, you guys suck and like all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm a person. Like,
that's what I think, that people sometimes lose that.
Yeah.
Who you're talking to when you're talking to Lifestyle Gym or your production or whoever, like, you're talking to a human. Like, they're just like you. They're just trying to, really help other people.
Just trying to feed their family.
Yeah. So I do feel like we live in a world where people are pretty cruel.
Cruel, and it's easy to be cruel.
Behind a phone screen.
And it's easy. I don't want to say like, it's easy to be cruel because you're behind a phone screen, but it's like, it's just this quick culture, you know, where it's like, there isn't really, oh, I'm going to get to know you, or, oh, I'm going to do this or that. And I think a lot of podcasts are popping up, and I think it's a good thing, because instead of going on and doing a 1-minute spot on like the radio, or going on and doing a 10-minute thing, now people might be watching this from Caldwell or from wherever and see you as a person, or me as a person, or whatever it is. And they might come to the gym just from knowing you instead of just knowing your business. Now they're starting to learn a little bit about you. You know,
I would agree. And I feel like the social media that is social media in today's world kind of puts a weird, like, we like portray things that aren't necessarily true. Because, I mean, no one's posting the bad things, you know what I mean? No one's sharing, like, when whatever happens. Like, it's just everyone's highlight reel.
Right.
And I feel like it's created a not good thing necessarily for our...
Yeah. And I think, so like Instagram, for some people, they're starting to they're starting to hide likes, which is good and bad. I don't know. I mean, if it might be a good thing, because even like, for example, like TikTok these days, like I tried it. I can't do it. I'm not a TikTok person.
I don't have an Instagram or a TikTok. So
okay. Yeah. So you're doing good.
I try to... I'm not a big social media person. I have to use Facebook for my business.
Right.
But other than that, you can't find me anywhere. I'm kind of low key about life.
That's good. And that's something I like to post stuff.
Yeah.
But from the business side, I have to post stuff. Our business is online.
Understandably
basically,
so,
right?
yeah.
And so even like for this last season, we've been trying to get away from that a little bit as far as social media, not the online part. But we started moving all of our streams from Facebook and YouTube, where people could comment and be like, this team sucks, or your kid looks dumb, just like, they'll just say the dumbest things. And I don't have time to sit there and like read the comments while I'm like moving the camera and all this stuff. And so we've moved it to our website. It's live, and it's all the same thing basically, but there's no comment section. You're not like a person on there. You're just like visiting our website. There's not like a login or anything. And so I think that's been, it hurts your viewership, because a lot of people will share and like it on Facebook.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you're getting a lot less of the backlash and a lot less of that. And
so there are pros and cons of both ways.
Right.
I definitely feel like there's pros and cons of social media. I thought I would miss Instagram more than I deleted it like 4 or 5 months ago. I just deleted my profile.
Yeah.
I feel like I find myself doing things more for me instead of doing it for show.
Other people.
Yeah, like you go to the gym and then you take a picture in the mirror. Well, if you don't have somewhere to post it, you're in there. Like if you're in the gym, you're in there for you.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I feel like it's actually kind of helped me grow as a person to not have social media.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I definitely find myself addicted to it sometimes, where
it's easy to...
I'm just going to post this, or I think I have like 3 or 4 Snap stories up from like yesterday still. And like, it's just, it's an addictive culture.
Very much. And it creates for a lot of, I feel like, comparison. I don't know if that's true among guys.
Depends. Businesses.
But for girls, I feel like a lot of the insecurities that women have come from, you see all these perfect females on Instagram and wherever, and they're like, it's really not real. Like it's really, and that's why I try to get across to my girls, like and if it is real, good for her, but like it's just makes women feel like they're not good enough, or that they're not living up to the standard that society puts out. And that was a big thing back in high school. Was like, you'd always be like, oh, look at it. And it really is. I mean, there's filters, and you can even just like the old school, like Instagram filters, where you could just like add color, whatever or
it was.
add like definition, or
literally. Yeah. And now, I mean, there's people that take it real extreme, and they'll put like eyelashes on and like an app, and
you can put fake makeup on in a matter of 5 minutes, like, or really 5 seconds.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, just, and that's what, with the TikTok thing, is like, I could never really get into it, and I know people like it, and it's like quick, like feed me content, like, it's just it's mindless. Like there's not really any like reason to it. I feel, I don't know, like I know there's people that have been successful on it and are making money doing it even, but the amount of followers people can get, the amount of likes people can achieve quickly, I think that's a lot of the success that they found was like, oh, well, if we just feed more people likes, and I don't feel like they're real. Like
TikTok is, I feel like it's not easy, but easier to go viral quick.
Very.
Like, whereas like I recently started a YouTube channel, and like to build a good YouTube following is
very hard.
And videos take a long time.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, I don't want to say TikTok's the easy way out, but like, it's not as, I'm not a TikTok fan either.
Yeah. So the way I always put it is, so a YouTube, let's say you have 100 subscribers on YouTube. That is like an equivalent to like, I don't know. I mean, maybe 1,000 followers on Instagram. And then equivalent to that, and I like to think of the view side because Facebook views are very different from YouTube views.
Yes.
So I don't know if you post a lot of stuff to Facebook and YouTube, and then you're like, my Facebook is like popping. Like I got a lot of views. So a Facebook view is basically, and they might have even changed it to a little bit lower, but it's 3 seconds. If someone watches your video for 3 seconds,
It counts as a view.
it's a view. And that could be scrolling the feed.
And it just, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas a YouTube view is not only, it's a little longer, it's like 7 to 10 seconds, but people have to search that content out or click the link.
It doesn't just come up. And
Right.
YouTube's a very different social media.
Yeah. And that's where so I think of it as like a value thing, is like YouTube subscribers are more valuable than Instagram followers. And Instagram followers are more valuable than Facebook followers because anyone can click like. I mean, not anyone. They have to like what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's easier for them to find you on Facebook because Facebook's always promoting like pages and like
People, yeah.
people share stuff and then you see it on their timeline. Whereas like Instagram, there's share features and all that, but people don't use it nearly as much. So it's harder to build that audience. But then TikTok,
Quick, yeah.
just I mean, you could have 10,000 followers in a week,
Yeah.
like just from like 2 or 3 like big videos. And I almost think of them as like junk. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the junk mail of like social
Like
media.
we're going quality over quantity.
Right. And yeah, I mean, seriously, so like YouTube, you said you just started making YouTube videos.
Yeah, literally. I've been saying I'm going to start a YouTube channel for like a year and a half, and I just started last Sunday, and I made 3 videos. So
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Getting
but
there.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
a lot of work.
You're not going to see the payoff for a while.
I know,
Like you understand that.
I've done a lot of research on how many subscribers, how many views, what the watch time needs to be. My goal is to put out a video at least twice a week.
Yeah.
One more like workout or like food related, and one more like educational.
Right.
So, I mean, luckily my schedule allows me to like, on Thursdays, my day is pretty empty. So on Thursdays, I'm making a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I know that it comes with consistency. I feel like it's going to be an easy thing to give up on if I'm not like stay hard headed about it.
Right. And speaking on that is like this, like every week I want to, like my goal is to do an every week thing.
Yeah.
And so far I've done pretty good with that. But like that, yeah, the consistency part is the biggest thing because you're going to get to a point where you're like,
Why am I doing this?
like I've been doing this for like a year and I only have like 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like a lot, but like
You started with
it's
zero.
an audience.
So yeah.
Yeah. And they're more valuable, so much more valuable. I mean, that's why like a YouTuber with 100,000 followers can like do that full time.
Full time, yeah.
Is because versus like if you have 100,000 followers on Facebook, it's like,
Doesn't matter.
like, yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And even I know Jenna, she's doing the podcast stuff now.
Yeah.
The podcasts are paying really good CPMs, which is like per 1,000 views. I don't know. It's like Latin or something.
Yeah.
But it basically means CPM is per 1,000 views. So like YouTube, depending on how family friendly you are versus how unfamily friendly you are, sometimes you can be demonetized for like saying too many F words or whatever it is, which makes sense. But like the kids channels, I mean, their CPMs can be like $4 per 1,000 views or like $5 per 1,000 views, which is like insane.
When they're getting millions of views.
Millions and billions of
Yeah.
views, like on like these Ryan's toy review and stuff.
Yeah.
And like all these little kids, they just scroll next video.
Yeah.
So that's like, those people are raking in money, but even like the average is like $1 per 1,000.
Yeah.
But a podcast, it's a lot harder to build an audience for a podcast, but the CPMs are insane. I mean, like the first one you get from Anchor is like $15
Oh, really?
per 1,000 views. And I don't monetize ours because I just like talking to people.
Yeah, you just...
But like if I do go that route, and I think they've got a little bit of it's a fairly new platform by Spotify, but I think the idea is there for like, I don't know, I haven't looked into the sponsorship stuff, but basically they'll send you more sponsors that are like, hey, we'll pay you this, but it's a lot higher than like your YouTubes or your X. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to make money online or on social media even.
I definitely feel like a lot of people start a podcast or a YouTube and give up because it's it doesn't get built overnight. You're not going to, I mean, you could, but you're not going to go viral on your podcast or your YouTube in one.
Right.
Like, it's something that you literally have to build.
You have to sell yourself. Like, people can watch one and be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But the big thing I think is people, you want to build that audience that's like, maybe they just tuned in for even like, so we'll put out like little clips.
Yeah.
And we try to get those out on like Facebook and like Instagram. So it's like a different audience versus the YouTube audience that's going to be like the full podcast. So they might just see a clip of someone and then they'll go like, oh, I want to watch that whole podcast. They watch that whole podcast. And then guess what? If you have 100 podcasts done, there's probably something else in there that they would like to watch. And so YouTube will recommend different videos. Facebook will recommend different videos now. But that's like having the content out there is really, so the way I've always put it is, for example, I don't know if you know who PewDiePie is. He's like the biggest, or was, there's another like network channel that's bigger now, but he was like the biggest independent YouTuber. Like he has hundreds of millions of subscribers and his videos are always up. Like his stuff he made 12 years ago still makes money for him,
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the mindset you have to have is like, yeah, it's not instant. Yeah, it's not. But if I hit it big, or if I make that one viral video and get a lot of subscribers, they're going to start watching my old stuff.
It's about working towards something.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of work. I mean, for 3 videos I've posted, I have my 4th one almost done. I have to tell myself, like, you have to do this for, like, even I say at least a year.
Right.
Like, at least a year. See where you're at in a year.
Yeah. Episode, 52? Is that what I would be at?
Yeah. 52 episodes. And then if you're still, even a year isn't, in the big scheme of things, a year's not that long.
Really? Yeah. For you, yeah. I mean, you're young. Some people have been doing stuff for 5-10 years, but what you've been able to accomplish in a year is maybe someone's 5 year. That's something you can think about too, is like, dang, I'm doing this like pretty early. Think of what else I can do.
I get that a lot. Like, people will come in the gym and be like, can we talk to the owner? I'm like, I am the owner. I get it. Like, at first it was like, I actually kind of like, it didn't irritate me, but I was like, it was kind of like an insult, like that, like they didn't. And then now I just kind of think it's funny. I'm like,
right.
Like, a guy was like, oh, the owner must love to have a smiling face like you behind the desk. I'm like, or I am the owner, but it's fine.
Right. I do love it.
I love being here.
No, and that's something I kind of ran into, was like a 21, 22-year-old kid. I'm like, I'm supposed to call like athletic directors of these schools and like talk to the superintendents. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, and you get to meet them and they're like, oh, hi.
Yeah. It's like surprise, but because it's not your everyday that, how old are you?
23.
Okay. I'm almost 23, so we're pretty much the same age. But not every day that someone our age has a running business. That's
right.
Not.
It's especially around here.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people our age that do end up running their own thing, especially young, find success in bigger areas. Or
correct.
Like they're like, I'm going to get out of there and go
Columbus.
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that'll actually, like, a significant amount of people that are starting their businesses, it's a lot of online stuff now.
Very much.
The next level muscle, are they online? They have a shop? I'm pretty sure. Like, there's online order. I think they do.
If they have a website, I don't know. I know they do a lot of stuff on Facebook.
I can help you set it up.
There you go. If you're watching,
next level.
If they're still here, I mean, I can tell. I mean, they're in the gym every day.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think they have a website set up.
Right. Well, and they're pretty new. I mean, they're still getting
a month, maybe. They've only been open for a month, so.
Yeah, they've still got a lot under their belt to figure out. And I think when you first open something, especially if it's not if it's a brick and mortar, if it's like a service-based thing where you're bringing people in, your first thing probably isn't a website.
It's not your first, like, not your first task to. I actually I got quarantined and I made a website for the gym.
Yeah.
But I like people to sign up for a membership online, but I don't know how that works because I have to give them a key fob. So then I just gave up on that idea.
Right. And so how does the key fob thing work? Like, obviously it's just swipe them in or whatever it is. But on your end, is that like, what's like is it like a system that you had to like buy?
Yeah. So I bought a software that like whenever I like put your information, I take your ID, put your information in the system, and then depending on whatever membership you choose, I scan your key fob in and into my side of it. And then like every time you check in, it keeps a log of like when you're in the gym, what hours you're in the gym. So my system does that all for me.
Yeah.
So then if I ever need to pull any record, like I don't really, once I sign you up, I don't have to do anything other than go down and run like I have to do the billing every month, but it's not, it's just like a click of 5 buttons.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And now I was thinking about pre-workout because I'm looking up there. Do you take pre-workout?
I do. Yes, I do. And we actually sell it at the gym too. We just have like a little, we have pre-workout and protein and fiber and all that. We like sell it, but we don't have like a mass amount at the gym.
Do you have like a top 3 like favorite like flavors?
My absolute favorite, which is a newer thing for me, they have them at the Cambridge Fitness Center. They're the RTDs, the ready to drink.
Yes.
Total War.
The little, yeah.
For like my body responds.
I like the
best
rainbow
of those.
ones. Is that?
The rainbow candy. Those, I don't really care what flavor it is, but like the pre-mixed pre-workout is my favorite. Yeah.
I struggle. I hate cleaning like my like cups.
Your blender bottles. Yeah, me too. I just dry scoop pre-workout.
Yeah, I haven't had like a bottle, I don't think, for like 2 months now. I have like this new flavor that I love, but I was like, I've never drank this.
Because I don't want to clean the bottle.
Literally, yeah. And now Bucked Up, they make, I sell it here. No, they make like bottle cleaner. So like you just open like a little tablet and it's like, I don't know what's in it, but you just pour water in, put this thing in and shake it.
And it cleans it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And you can order it in like packs. So like you can give like 5 out to someone, 5 out here, whatever it is.
I've thrown away 1 too many blender bottles in my day.
So my first order of this, they gave us like a promo where like they were like, for every 2 pre-workouts you buy, you get a blender bottle. And I was like, sick. I don't have to clean a water bottle for a while.
Like, yes.
But I ended up giving more of them out. But yeah, I think I have like 2 bottles in my gym bag and they sit in there and I don't want to look in them. I really don't.
Throw them away.
Honestly, I think, yeah, that's probably the next step. But I've been dry scooping everything. And
that's what I do. If I don't have the ready to drinks, I just dry scoop.
Yeah.
I like Ghost, Lit, and then the Total War.
Total War. Yeah, I haven't tried Total War, but other than the ready to drinks.
Yeah.
But I know they sell a lot of stuff over there now. They're starting to get a lot of stuff.
I do not like the Total War powder. Like to dry scoop, it's the worst. It tastes like medicine.
And I'm the opposite. So like, well, no, I'm not the opposite. It's just a brand thing. But like Bucked Up, they're like energy drinks. I don't know. I can't do them.
You don't like it, but you love it.
It's carbonated. And I'm like, I don't want to drink carbon before I work out.
Yeah. I definitely feel like pre-workout based on energy drinks, it's a completely different like feeling in your body.
And so as a trainer, is there like when you bring clients in, is there like do you suggest, you're like, hey, we need to put you on protein and this and this and this, or like how?
I feel like this is very hypocritical, but it's, I'll be honest, like the amount of caffeine I drink in a day is definitely not like humanly
600 milligrams
healthy or more. But then like, I can't tell my girls like, that's not good for you if I'm doing it.
Right.
So I'll tell them like, it's not good for you, but I do it.
Build your tolerance.
Yes, but depending on the person, I try not to push supplements on people too much because I feel like, again, we live in a society that makes you feel like you should be taking fat burners and you need this and that. And I just I don't believe in all that.
Yeah. Do you think with like macros, or are you just more like? Yeah,
I'm certified in nutrition. So almost all of my clients I'll calculate their macros for them, but I don't push. Like if that doesn't fit into your lifestyle, then like, I don't necessarily think macros are for everybody.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of coaches are just like, follow this. I'm like, well, if you're a mom of 4 kids and you have a husband I feel like a lot of people fail because they're a diet or whatever becomes so much pressure instead of it just being like, okay, how are we going to make this work for you?
Yeah.
So that's what really I try to, I think macros are great and I think they work if you can follow them, but I don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah. And so you meal prep?
Yes. Every Sunday, and try to do it on Thursdays, but sometimes I fail.
So what's your, like, what are you eating? Like what kind of stuff are you, do you diversify? Is it kind of the same thing?
No, I pretty much eat the same thing every day. Greek yogurt for breakfast, a protein shake right after then I lift, protein shake right after I lift, chicken breast, turkey burger, or lean ground beef with veggies and rice, sometimes a sweet potato. But I'm pretty straight across the board on what I eat.
Yeah. I wish one day I get to that point.
I'd say that really I love ice cream, so that's a struggle. Halo Top it's a lifesaver. I say one cheat meal a week. Like, so not a cheat day, but like on Saturday night, if me and my friends are going somewhere, then like I will eat something. Like I'm not so restrictive that I'm like, no.
Yeah, right. And that's it can be good and bad. So the first time, like when I really started working out, it would have been 2018, give or take. It was after college. Well, yeah, no, it was completely after college actually. 'Cause I was like, in college I would eat anything, drink anything. And one day, well, I was single. That's what kind of kicked me into gear. But one day it hit me. I'm like, you're big. Like I was like 260, 265, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just stopped eating, not like unhealthily, but like.
But you didn't feel like confident about.
Yeah. And so I did like the power bowls I love like I still eat those, but I would literally like 1 or 2 of those a day. They're only like 250 calories, some of them. So I was like very like at a deficit, but
very much.
But then all I was really doing at that point was running and not eating or whatever.
Which isn't necessarily suggested.
Right. But it kind of worked for me. I got down to 190. And
it does work, but it's not healthy.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't listen to him.
There's other ways. And so that's the other part of it is like, I was just doing that. And then my sister, she went to the CrossFit gym for a long time.
Yeah.
And so finally she was like, you should come to CrossFit. And I was like, I am terrified. Like, I don't like people. I still don't want to talk to anyone. And so I was like, okay, I'll go. And it is fun. Like, it's a nice little community. For me, it's more like, I like the workouts because I'm like competitive.
The competitive aspect. I feel like to me, that's my favorite part of CrossFit.
Yeah. And versus the community that is there's not a lot of people my age going, Like, there's a few, but with all the different classes, they're not always there or whatever it is.
For sure.
And there's that age group where it is fun for them because it's more of a social thing. And I'm like, okay, like cool. And that's why I love CrossFit. Like I'll look at the workouts, I'm like sick, like I'm gonna go do this today. But then other days I'll go over here. I'll go to the Cambridge Fitness Center and just like lift, go at my own pace. Like I don't have to like be like, got to do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But it's always been pretty fun. But when I started lifting, that's when I started gaining muscle. And I'm sure you could explain it all, but like there's a good way to diet and build muscle at the same time and not go from giant to insanely small with like no muscle, then to something in the middle is kind of where I'm at today. So
I definitely feel like that with all of the people jump to eating as little as they can and doing cardio, which is like a common thing for people to jump to, but at the same time, it's not good. It's not the healthy way to do it.
Right.
Does it work? Yeah.
It can, but I feel like a lot of times people will do it and then it just comes back.
Gain the weight right back because you're not living at like a calorie intake that's like sustainable. So then like, I mean, you might lose the weight, but as soon as you start even living a normal life, the weight's going to come back. So instead of fluctuating your body like that, it's better to just do it the right way to begin with. You know what I mean? Like they say any more than 2 pounds a week weight loss is not sustainable, which scientifically is true. But like I've had women who are following the correct meal plans, that lose at the beginning, they might lose 5 pounds a week or 20 pounds in a month. But once you lose all that extra weight, then it's 1 to 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm. So that would be like once you get to a more sustainable area. Correct. So even like if someone like us or like these guys over here, they wanted to do 2 pounds a week, that's kind of the limit.
Yeah. And I think that'll differ with what trainers you talk to, but I try to, like if a girl comes to me like, I want to lose 30 pounds, I have a wedding, and I try to be very like raw with people. Like, listen, it's not a good idea. Like the success that women have had in classes is we have a transformation wall. I try to add, the goal is to add 3 people to it a year, but you have to be a part of Passion Fit for a year and you had to make a lifestyle change. So like you didn't just lose 30 pounds in a challenge. You stuck with it for an entire year. And like I just got to add 4 girls to the wall in February. And it's just so cool to see. That's cool. I mean, these girls are losing 30 to 100 pounds
Really?
And I had one girl, she lost 107 pounds, which is all from eating correct and working out. Like there's
Right.
no secret of.
Yeah. And that is something I did run into was like, I was like, okay, you're good now. Just go, like you can eat more. And it slowly turned into like too much again.
Yeah.
And so I think it is good to find like where you're not like starving and you're
That's
not
what-
hungry and you are eating enough.
The right for your, which is what my YouTube-ish, like I just made a video, like how many calories should you be eating? And I kind of explained the science behind it and like how, like you could watch a video and calculate how many calories you should technically be eating.
Right.
So I'm trying, my goal is to put out information out there that's just the honest, raw, real, no like 6-pack in 6 weeks or like 30
Yeah.
pounds in 30 days.
8-minute abs. That was
Yeah.
my go-to video. It's old. Have you ever watched that? It's just like this super like just like cheesy like
but people love that. So like for me, it's like part of me like you want to put that stuff out because people eat it up, but
it's viral. I mean,
Yeah.
it's clickbait.
But
not necessarily, but like it's like yeah.
you see and you're like, oh, even abs do this. I just watched a video because I'm making a YouTube video, so I was like going through and watching some. It's like do this workout for 5 days and watch her, and I'm like. I couldn't even bring myself to make a video like that for clickbait because it's not.
Yeah.
I want people to, when they know that the information I'm putting out is like real, factual, not like I just want you to do it for me. Like I want to actually help people in their lives.
Yeah. I like there's always these ads on like Facebook or something that's like, it's like a picture of like 5 bellies.
Yes.
It's like, this is a beer gut. This is this gut. This is what it could be.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
That's just that kind of stuff. That'll, no.
And it's like, take this pill and then you'll be
Yeah.
good.
You don't even have to work
Yeah.
out.
Just
Because-
lay in bed.
and take this pill. Imagine what it's doing to your body then. Yeah.
It's meth. Is what it is.
Don't take the pill. Don't do it.
Yeah, but that. So actually, some of those diet like pills and stuff. Have you ever ran into problems with like different pre-workouts and stuff that are like literal steroids? Like,
I personally haven't, but like I've had some girls who like will order like, let's say a fat burner off the internet. It's not illegal by any means, but like they'll take it once and they're like, or like they feel like they're gonna die because really you shouldn't have to take a pill to like speed up your heart to burn. Like that's not how our bodies were made to work. So I try to tell them like, well, we could just like implement a 10-minute HIIT training and that's going to increase your metabolism in a
keep your
healthy
heart
way.
rate up.
Yeah. And I feel like I've seen people run into some pretty scary.
Yeah. No. And speaking, you said you drink a lot of caffeine. You
Yes.
consume a lot of caffeine. So me and Ethan were sitting over here. This was probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I went to the gym in the morning. It was like 8 a.m. Took my pre-workout. It's like 333 milligrams or whatever.
Yeah.
And I came over here and made like a pot of coffee because I just got this coffee made.
Yeah.
Like this sweet. It's like a cup this big and like a cup of coffee or whatever they determine it is. It's like 40 to 80 milligrams depending on what it is. So I drank like 2 big cups of coffee and I'm sitting there. I'm like, good, whatever. And then I don't know what we were doing. We were waiting on something or like we were just listening to music and like hanging out. And I was like, I'm thirsty. I went and got a Bang. And I'm sitting there. I was halfway through this Bang and I looked down. I'm like,
Yeah.
And I did the math. It was like 900 milligrams or something insane.
That's it. Just not. I was on a kick there. I was drinking at least 2 energy drinks a day plus my pre-workout. So I'm like in 1,000 milligram.
That's insane.
Actually,
I thought I was going to die. I was like, I'm going to go walk on the treadmill.
I actually had to go to the hospital. So you don't drink too much caffeine. I had like a lump in my chest that like, I guess as a female, if you drink too much caffeine, you can like build up a caffeine mass. And they're like, you cannot drink any caffeine for at least a week. I'm like, okay. They're like, it'll go away. It did. I didn't drink caffeine. I drank water. Like you could literally like move it around in my chest.
Well,
I thought, I don't know. I didn't think caffeine.
Yeah.
I thought worse than that. So,
well, yeah, there's other things that can be worse than that for women.
So it went away and I was like, okay. So now I'm honestly not a big energy drinker anymore. I'll have one here and there, but I try to just stick to pre-workout.
I try to drink, not try. I'm not like, I got to drink one, but like before like podcasts and stuff.
You like to,
cause I'm tired. I'm like sitting around and I'm like, oh man, there's people coming. And I'll be like,
get a little bit.
Bang. And I'm like, great, let's go. I can talk now. And so I don't know. It might be just a placebo thing where you think it's helping, but it might not be.
I think it depends on the person, like depending on your tolerance. Like I could drink a bang and go to sleep.
Well, and there's like people out there that they'll come and get pre-workout that take like really low doses of it, and they'll get like the Woke or the BAMF, like the high caffeine ones. Yeah. And they'll be like, I didn't like that. I was very itchy. Like people get itchy, and I used to, but I'm like,
it's the same as anything you build up tolerance, and it doesn't work the way it is intended to work.
Yeah, or too much. It might work too well.
Oh yeah, true.
If you're going to the hospital for it. But yeah, I mean,
yikes.
What are we at? We're like hour and a half. That's pretty good. Hour and 40. Yeah.
How are we talking for an hour and 40 minutes?
I can't. I'm really blind, and it's like this big, so I have no idea. But no, I don't care. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. We hit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
So without further ado, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was great. A lot of valuable info here. If you guys are in the Caldwell area or around it, you don't have to be in Caldwell, but if you're around the area and you're looking for a gym, or you're at a gym and you want a better gym, go to Lifestyle Gym and talk to Laken. You want to plug anything?
I mean, the only thing you can look up Lifestyle Gym or Laken Figel on Facebook. I post everything business related, classes, everything on Facebook, or you can look me up on YouTube. It's Lifestyle with Laken, and there'll be videos, hopefully twice a week from here on out. So,
okay. And you can find the links to the online stuff too there?
All of my...
Or it's all on your Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My Facebook is all business related. Okay.
So if you're not in Caldwell...
And you want to join me from anywhere in the world,
right?
You can do my classes completely online, and you're part of the community with us. We do live video sessions. We chat. It's like daily morning. I'll post like a good morning and like a challenge for the day. So if you want to join that, you can shoot me a message, and I'm always there to chat about you or your goals or whatever you want to do.
Cool. Well, thank you. Yes. And like I always say, it's time for you to leave. So please get out of here. All right, we're done.